If you're trolling for trout, kokanee, or landlocked kings, you're going to need dodgers. But when you go to the tackle shop to get your dodgers, you're going to be confronted with a wide variety of sizes, colors, shapes. Where to begin? What do you need? How do you get started? Well, maybe I can help a little bit. Dodgers really have three functions. Okay, one, when they move through the water, they put out impulses that sound a lot like a feeding fish. Fish hear that, they come in to see what's going on, they see your bait trailing behind the dodger, fish on. Another way they attract fish is through flash. Fish detect that flash from a distance, they come over to see what the flash is all about, they see your bait, fish on. Dodgers can also impart action to lures that have no action, because the dodger swings through the water. And that's a good point. Dodgers don't spin. That's a flasher. Dodgers dodge back and forth. Okay? So if you have a lure trailing right behind it, it will impart action to that lure. I'll talk more about that in a bit. What kind of dodgers do I use? I use a wide variety of dodgers. This is a large sling blade. This is the 8-inch model. This is about a 4-inch sling blade. And this is the medium-sized sling blade. Now, sling blades are what I consider a slim dodger. These dodgers have very little resistance on your line. They're pretty straight. And you control them fairly fast. You control these up to about 3 miles an hour without a problem. Now, your herring-style dodgers, here's one from Gold Star, large 6-inch model. Here's one from Seps. Here's a small herring dodger from Vance's Tackle. These dodgers are designed to be trolled at slower speeds. You'll get more action with these at slower speeds. So a lot of times I'll use the sling blades, particularly when I'm going for trout or kings, because I like to troll faster. I typically like to troll 2.5 to 3 miles an hour. Now you can use the slim dodgers, the sling blades. When you go slower, I'm going to have you look at these two blades. Here's another medium-sized sling blade. You'll notice that this one, the pink one, it's got quite a bend in it compared to the UV green one. I put that bend in there because I was trolling it for kokanee at slower speeds, so I put a little bend in it, straighten it, or put a little bend in it to increase the action. If you want to decrease the action and speed up, straighten the blade back out, and you can play with them, put some bend in them, and just vary the action until you get what you're looking for. Dodger color. A lot of people are confused about the color of dodgers. When I'm kokanee fishing, I do put a lot of thought into the color of my dodger. At times, too much flash will scare kokanee. Early in the morning, I like to use chromeback blades. As the day goes on, I like to use more subtle colored blades. This one has this is a sling blade. It has a brass colored back and a subtle red colored top. So, but that's for kokanee fishing. I have a lot of colors for kokanee. When it comes to trout and kings, my selection that I use is much more limited. My number one color for rainbows is chrome and green. Chrome and brass. Whites will work well. And I particularly like watermelon colored blades. And that brings us to one of my favorite blades right here. This is a Gold Star 6-inch Dodger. It's watermelon colored. This is my go-to blade for king salmon these days. Just works exceptionally well. The watermelon color works everywhere. So once again, for trout and kings, I keep my Dodger colors pretty simplistic. When I'm dealing with kokanee, I use a wider variety of colors. Now let's talk about rigging baits behind Dodgers. This is confusing for a lot of folks. There's two kinds of lures. There's lures like this rigged hoochie that have absolutely no action. If you just pull this hoochie through the water by itself, it's not going to do very much. It's just a straight rubber tube. So I have this bait. I want this Dodger to impart action to the hoochie. So I have it rigged about 2.5 Dodger links behind the blade. I can show you that. There's 1 length, 2 links, and I got about a half length remaining there. So, and what that's going to impart to this hoochie is going to impart a nice stutter stop action, and I'll talk more about that action in my hoochie video. That's upcoming. I'm going to do a little hoochie tutorial. But the main thing is, if you want your Dodger to impart action to the lure, you want to rig it from 2 to 3 times the length of the blade behind the blade. So 2 to 3 blade lengths back will impart action to the lure. Now, if you're using a more traditional trout lure like a spoon, this is one that I'll bet you just about everybody has, or you should have. It's a number 2 needlefish in the bikini pattern. Got a lot of dots, mostly chrome. It's a great bait fish imitation. I have it rigged on about a 30-inch leader, about 30 inches long. And I would put this behind, I already know what I'd pick out if I was looking for trout. I'd put this behind a 6-inch sling blade, my favorite green UV colored blade. Put that about 30 inches back there. I don't need the blade to impart action to the lure. This needlefish has plenty of action all by itself. I just want the blade to put out vibration and flash. That's what I'm relying on the Dodger for. And this is one of the rigs that I would put on when I first start looking for trout at any given lake. Just a simple Dodger spoon combination. It imitates a feeding trout and a bait fish. Trout come in to see that, and they see what they expect. They see a bait fish, bam, fish on. And as I said, this is one of my very go-to rigs for king salmon. And this catches plenty of trout too. Hoochie behind a Dodger. Hoochie has no action, 2.5 times behind the blade. I got flash, got vibration, I've also got action imparted to my bait. Dodgers, go get some.